there, but I think that's the best thing they can do, just put down a lot of time and of course a lot of theory crafting as well. I think one thing is preparation. You got to prepare, you got to see what your win condition is, and then prepare a lot for how to reach that. I think that's where a lot of the time is spent for these teams. It's not just about figuring out what comp you want to run and how you want to kind of play the comp, but it's also a lot of strategy. We saw like Mercy was having like a big kind of MS Paint where they were drawing all over where, okay, if the Warlock runs this way, I'm going to go here. Villet, you're going to go there. We're going to cut him off and make sure he doesn't escape. And a lot of it is just in-game planning like that. So it's going to be interesting to see what Creed has in store for us. They're definitely one of the most creative teams. And I think for Reload Esports, I mean, we can kind of expect here the Shadow Priest, Warrior, Shaman to be ran, and they are going to run that.
Spot on prediction. We're also seeing Tren bring out the Demon Hunter with Saza on that Fire Mage. This is going to be an insane matchup. It's Reload Esports game number 1 versus Creed.
Yeah, the last time these teams went head-to-head, what I'm looking at is they tried Fire Mage Ellie. It was actually a pretty close series, 3-2 overall to Reload Esports. So this time around, they're going to try out the Fire Mage Demon Hunter and try and make it work here. It's a very bursty comp, but Shadow Priests love burst damage. They have a ton of cooldowns to trade. So actually they're going after the Warrior instead, splitting their damage here. Dab of the Sword trading for the Hunt. Good trade by Mercy. Instant reaction time to the cooldowns of Creed. Not getting caught off guard by that all-in. Now they're getting aggressive, going after Saza. Saza trying to retreat back behind the pillar, but Mercy blade storms the crowd control, just tearing in at the moment. Drainer gets stunned up on his Avenging Wrath. If they can further crowd control it, it could be devastating. They get a Psychic Scream, double Psychic Scream. Beautiful positioning by Villet. We're definitely getting a Shadow Priest showcase today between Frofsy, Zuniaki, and Villet. You've definitely got a smile as a Shadow Priest player in the chat right now.
Yeah, I mean, no question about it. Some real all-stars. And I mean, for Reload Esports, it's all about kind of surviving the one-shots. Right now, Trent's going to be able to put out a ton of damage with that Metamorphosis, but the consistent damage on Saza has kind of kept him on the back foot, made it really difficult for him to actually reset his combustion by spamming fireballs. And Creed, the way they win this one is they really just need to set up that one-shot kill. And if Reload Esports can deflect that and just keep up this consistent pressure, it's going to be looking good for them. But you have to really respect the damage that Creed has available. A big setup here potentially on the Mercy. Double Chaos Stuffing going to be coming in from Tren. That's going to fade. Good Earthen Wall Totem by Lontar deflecting that damage. Here's the Combustion. Where are they putting the damage? Just kind of using it on a Mercy, but it gets dispelled almost instantly by Lontar and Villet. Really good disruption, and Saza once again is going to be on the run. Gets the Blessing of Protection from Drainer, but I would say Reload Esports in terms of momentum, they've got a lot of it right now. Oh, Mercy's on the back foot. It might get dropped. That's going to be the dive by the sword in order for Mercy to survive. Really good setup there by Creed, and Saza just constantly positioning far away. He's just dragging Mercy away. Gives him a lot of opportunities. Big Hunt as well. Not doing too much damage there to Mercy, and it looks like he should be able to survive, but the damage is just unrelenting. I'm really surprised at the consistent damage Creed has available here.
Yeah, Tren is doing a massive amount of damage here on the Demon Hunter, and so far, Mercy is definitely kind of feeling it. He's going to go battle stance now, finally get aggressive here, but a nice blink there by Saza on the Stormbolt. Nice stuns here by Tren. He's going to stun up Mercy, go after Delay a little bit here, just keeping up the pressure. So far, Drainer slightly ahead on mana, but it's more or less even. If you're a Shaman and you're tired at this point, it's kind of normal, and as the game extends, we're going to see the Shaman be a little bit more efficient with his healing compared to the Paladin, and the Paladin's going to have to go for drinks. Saza right now, though, in a world of trouble here. Drainer might have to trade out his trinket and his sacrifice, but he does get a big Divine Toll there before he gets crowd controlled, so Saza might actually be completely fine here. Here comes a big Holy Light as well with Divine Favor. Saza gets Spell Reflect there on his Polymorph, and he's just doing what he should do as a mage with a Warrior on you. You can see he's just dragging Mercy away from Lontar so that he can crowd control him without Lontar being able to dispel him. And now actually Lontar dispelled the Dragon's Breath. They got a full sheep here. Lontar might actually have to trade out something here. You got to trade out the Earthen Wall Totem, and that's actually going to be enough here. They purge off the combustion there as well, so nice defense there. Lontar keeping his composure, realizing that he's not in crowd control yet. He doesn't have to panic and trade out the Spirit Link or anything like that. He's going to keep his Warrior nice and healthy there, but they did get Mercy's Trinket, and now we got a full sheep onto Lontar, but does get dispelled there, so still good defense here from Reload Esports. But Creed honestly showing a lot of signs of life, and they should have the Hunt available as well for that next go. So Mercy, if he goes behind these pillars, that's definitely an option where you can get Dragon's Breath into a sheep, and then Trent can just go over there and just hunt him. So he needs to be careful.
Saza dipping quite low on health there. Here comes the hunt onto the Warrior with no trinket. Beautiful stun lock combo by Tren. Trying to push for the kill, but not enough damage to take him out here. Mercy walks it off with a Battlemaster jumping into battle stance to go after Saza. Big Warrior damage coming out from Mercy here. Trent going to drop the darkness, but they're trying to fear Saza out of its defense. They're actually just chopping through the darkness. They're getting a bit lucky on those condemn hits, and Mercy is really tearing into Saza. Drainer, nice recovery despite all of that pressure. They've got control of the Warrior in a Polymorph, in a Frost Nova, behind the pillar, now blinking away. Drainer retreating to the back far corner. Saza defending himself with a Ring of Frost. I think they're trying to set up a drink on Drainer here while Saza tries to avoid Mercy. Mercy blade storms over the Ring of Frost, stunning Saza, pinning him down while Drainer, I think, is trying to drink. How much mana can Drainer get? If he gets full mana here, it's excellent for his team. He gets a decent amount. Saza altering time back in range of Drainer, trying to avoid Mercy. It's almost like anytime Mercy is next to Saza, he's just outright dead. Condemn after condemn, Warbreaker out. Big heals coming in from Drainer. He's not comfortable. He hits a Divine Shield to avoid crowd control and get big heals out onto Saza. Just back and forth between these Titans. Mercy once again stunned up. Lontar drops the Spirit Link, but he couldn't get inside of it. Trent stuns him just a couple feet away from getting into that Spirit Link totem. Regardless, Reload Esports recover, and it's just back and forth in game one.
It absolutely is. Double Dragon's about to come in. Saza on the back foot. Gets a big heal there by Drainer. And actually Creed ahead on mana at this point. 2% dampening. This isn't what you'd normally expect. I mean, the Shadow Priest Warrior would normally have a lot more overall pressure and tax the mana of the enemy healer, but it's just not the case. Saza's doing a great job just controlling up the game, then going for burst damage, controlling up the game, and just going for burst damage. Double Dragon's Breath once again coming in from Saza. Big Stormbolt, though. No crowd control onto Drainer. The sacrifice actually trades on that silence. Nicely done there by Drainer. They might make a swap on Drainer if they can. Try to take advantage of that redirected sacrifice damage, but it doesn't look like they're going to go for it. Discontinue the damage onto Saza. Try to pressure down Mercy. At this point, Creed really needs to get Mercy off of Saza, but it is unrelenting pressure, and Saza is forced into that first ice block. And this is great for Reload Esports. They really need to ride this momentum. Creed's got to get something done.
Yeah, and it's not looking good. Saza still not able to get away from Mercy here. There's no blinks. Finally blinks away, gets a sheep on the Mercy. Drainer now going to be able to back him up here with the Freedom, but Villet spamming out the Purges here, trying to get those shields off of Saza here, so the next time Mercy connects, it's going to be big damage right away here, but Saza is resetting that cooldown. Villet actually on the back foot here a little bit, trying to get some counter pressure going here. Now Saza popping the combustion here, big damage onto Mercy. What is he going to do? How is he going to respond? There's no Spirit Link here for a little while, but they do have the personal defensives here of Mercy, that die by the sword, as well as that Rallying Cry. Now once again reconnected onto Saza. There's the barrier coming out from Saza. Villet immediately dispelling it, gets a fear onto Drainer. Drainer forced to trinket out here. Tran leaping across there just to shut down Villet here, doing too much right now. And Lontar sitting down for a drink here potentially, does not get a grounding there on the Hammer of Justice. And now they have a potentially to get a sheep onto Lontar, but they're not going to find it just yet here. Saza still looking for the Ring of Frost, still looking for the sheep here. I think he's going to get it. There it is. They get the mind control there as well, actually, on the darkness, but still not going to be enough here with that sheep to force any massive cooldowns here. Just Mercy just popping Avatar and just going on, with his day here. So I don't know what Drainer's going to do here, but he's definitely going to be spending more mana. As soon as those wings run out for Drainer, he's going to have a lot of trouble keeping Saza alive here, especially without the ice block.
Yeah, the opportunities are slipping away for Creed here in game number one. Saza dips dangerously low. Can they close it out here? He's on the run in Soul Shape, but Mercy reconnects once again. They block the Cauterize. No ice block. Sacrifice trading as well, but it's not the ultimate one. They might just kill him through it. Saza's in desperation to avoid Mercy at all costs, but he just can't get away. Blade storming. Mercy is tearing in, looking for the win. Intimidating shout for one more second. Saza gets bopped. He blinks out of line of sight, trying to drop a Ring of Frost and avoid the purges of Lontar and Villet. Blessing of Protection gets stripped off. And really, what can you do in this position? There's not a lot left. They've got one more combustion. They need to get a kill. Saza's going for it onto Mercy, but Mercy trades die by the sword. They purge off combustion, and Saza is in shambles behind the pillar, desperately trying to recover. Tren's going on a solo mission, stunning the whole team. Buying a little bit of more time on the clock, but they didn't net a kill with that combustion. There's still so much defense they need to strip away. Tren's going to have to carry the game here with his hunt if they want to win.
Yeah, and they're looking for it. He's trying to fake cast it out. Trent still has it available. He could use it at any time.
Here it is.
Oh, they're going for it.
He's faking it.
Trent is really being greedy. He realizes they need that cooldown to at least keep Reload Esports a little bit scared. So Trent is really greeting it out. Let's see when he decides to use it. Looks like he does want to use it on Mercy, but just picking an opportune moment. Metamorphosis comes in. Trent going to be empowering his damage, potentially putting out a ton here on Mercy. Can they just drop him through Lontar's heels? He's got the Spirit Link Totem, he's got the Ascendance. There is answers, but they can catch them off guard at this point of the game. I mean, Creed, they can go for that one-shot kill, and they might be waiting for the Combustion to just go all in, but I don't know if they have enough time. Do they have 35 seconds? Draener's got no man, he's got no cooldowns. Mercy leaps in, he's all over. Big hunt coming in. Mercy might just get dropped, playing it a little greedy, but Lontar with the Spirit Link allows their team to play aggressive, and Saza has 1 second on the ice block, instantly going to trade it out. He was waiting, but Mercy's still low. They're not out of it yet. This game is so back and forth.
Yeah, but Lontar has mana, and he still has that Ascendance live and kicking right now. But Mercy in a stun. Lontar trinkets out of the Dragon's Breath, trying to keep him alive with that Ascendance. The last couple of seconds here, Mercy now trading out the Dive Sword. There's the Storm Bolt onto Drainer here on about half HP. They're actually going to go after Drainer. Then no, Mercy changes his mind, fears up Saza defensively there, giving Lontar a little bit of time to recover him. Lontar also trading out that Mana Tide, able to get a little bit of mana, but he is pretty much tied here with Drainer. We're at 34% dampening. I don't know if Mercy's going to be able to keep this thing going for much longer. Saz has no cooldowns though as well. Tren comes out with the Darkness here. Nice Root Totem here in the Darkness as well. Lontar now trying to get some purges, trying to get a couple of heals out. They need to get Saza down with this next push. Drainer right now in a Storm Bolt. Nice defense, nice offensive fear there by Valet as well. Gets Tren out of the fight. Saza by himself right now. Drainer has no cooldowns. He gets the wings here, but he doesn't have mana to do anything with it. Saza dropping dangerously low. Valet dropping quite low here as well. I do believe they have the hunt here. Could be anyone's game here, Sid.
Let's see if Trent can still close this game out for his team. Both sides working with nothing at this point. Valet pops Vampiric Embrace, trying to recover. They swap over to the Shadow Priest. In dampening, it's going to be difficult for him to recover. Now they're swapping over to Trend, catching him in midfield in a Storm Bolt. Drainer has Avenging Wrath, but he's silenced. Trend ducks up into the air. He's running rain from above this entire time. It's the first time he's pressed it in 11 minutes to try and avoid the attacks of the Warrior, but now he's coming back down to earth, and Drainer still has 0 mana at this point. Can they pull it off? Combustion available. They're popping it. They're going for the kill. They need to trade. They stun up Saza. They instantly purge him, but Mercy's still at 10% health. Dive of the Sword. They swap over to Valet. He's interrupted. Are Creed actually going to be able to pull this off? They've been working with nothing on defense for the past 5 minutes basically straight, but they have momentum. Valet down at half, Mercy down at half. If they can just keep it going a little bit longer. Drainer trinkets out of the stun, but while Drainer is recovering, Valet's back to full health. Mercy's really the only target, but he's got Avatar up. He's doing massive damage. Saza blinking away. They stun Mercy. They're desperate. He gets feared on his shifting power. He can't reset his cooldowns. Nice intimidating shout. They're trying to take out Mercy on his last assault. They have to drop Earthen Wall in midfield. They're going after Drainer now. He is getting chopped up and taken out, but it could be a cross kill. Lontar is interrupted. 0 mana remains here. Does Tren have the hunt? Saza's going to get potted and likely taken out in this seed. I think it is unlikely that Trent pulls this off in a 1v3 fashion. Caught into the psychic horror. Reload Esports closed it out, but Creed kept it interesting.
I mean, Creed really did. I feel like Creed, their main adaptation from the series we previously saw was just pressure the Warrior a lot more. I mean, in the past, it was all about the Shadow Priest, all about the Shaman, and that didn't work out for them. So I think just really just dragging the Warrior, trying to punish him, that's what made this game number 1 so interesting. But Reload Esports, they managed to hold on, find that kill on Drainer, and I feel like these teams are both bringing their A game for this one.
Absolutely. I mean, look at both of these healers' mana playing their hearts out. We're at 40% dampening here, and you can see Saza here trying to peel the situation, trying to get, some momentum here, seeing as he's free right now. Beautiful double Dragon's Breath, but look at Mercy charging in, gets the interrupt there on the double Dragon's Breath, then he chases Saza away. Drainer manages to top him with his last mana. Drainer gets feared up. Mercy taking a lot of damage here. Lontar's going to be trading out that Earthen Wall Totem here in a second, and at this point, Drainer, he has no mana. He has some cooldowns, but he can't even press them. He gets condemned a couple of times. Mercy gets the Victory Rush, trinkets out, got to heal himself there with the Victory Rush, and that's it. They're able to win that game, but that was sweaty. And if you look at the scoreboard, you can kind of see why. Look at Trent here. I don't know what he had for breakfast today, but that is some serious numbers right there.
It fell. What's that green stuff from?
Yeah, no, that's
Fell
right.
cereal even.
Fell, is that
Fell
right?
cereal does not
Yeah,
sound.
that's right.
I don't know if I would eat Fell cereal.
Maybe you should. You could get damaged like that. New cereal for Blizzard. Fell bites. I don't know. Anyways,
I like it.
Fell O's. But that is going to be a game number 1 victory for Reload Esports. But like you guys have already touched on, very, very close. Very long game as well, Supatees. How many times within that first game could it have gone to Creed?
I mean, it's basically the matchup looks like Saza needs to get combustion on the warrior, and the warrior doesn't press die by the sword. If that situation ever happens, then the warrior is going to die, and they were never able to get that situation to happen. He was able to trade it every single time, or they purged it off and bought him time to get it. So other than that, it's like, can the hunt get the kill? It seems like the hunt was getting Spirit Link most of the time. So you're trying to set up like this one perfect one-hit moment. Maybe you can get a kill in dampening, but it seems like the warrior with Ignore Pain, the Shadow Priest self-sustainability is just outweighing what the mage and the demon hunter can provide, and the shaman is still able to keep going a little bit longer with mana. I would like to see Creed play something else, although this looked close. Maybe they don't need to, but I was
What
just
should they play?
I wanted to see them try something really weird, and now I'm going back to my my original roots of comps.
Your roots,
like,
let's see.
Get Bakka in on Enhancement Shaman and try like Demon Hunter Enhancement Shaman rather than the Fire Mage, and maybe try and set up with like Imprison on the healer, stun Imprison healer, pop your burst damage, try and go after the warrior. You're gonna get the Doom Winds burst way more frequently than Combustion, and you'll have Ascendance as like a third layer of a threat. You'll have like 4 major offensive cooldowns rather than only like 2 with the Fire Mage. You're going to trade some durability and the ability to polymorph, but like if you just look at the damage Trent's doing, he's doing 3 times Saza's damage. You put an Enhancement Shaman in there, healing a little bit for Drainer. Enhance is going to do more than double the mage's damage. I don't see why on paper it wouldn't work.
You don't have MS.
I would like to
Actually, no,
try
you
it.
do.
You do,
You do
yeah.
have MS.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it actually could work.
I want to see it. And you can also Thunder Charge the Demon Hunter and reduce his hunt cooldown, I think. And you could like misalign your... This is like a random comp that I'm just putting together their classes, and I'm like, wait, this actually seems legit. Like, I feel like they should try this. It's like, how are they going to kite them? It's a Shadow Priest. You're going to get to attack the whole game, swap to the warrior when he intervenes. You've got instant crowd control. It fits the bill for everything you need to be a meta comp. Hybrid healing, instant crowd control, burst damage.
Fell oats, now with 100% more fiber.
You can find them in the cereal aisle right next to the Lucios.
You know,
Okay.
I
Now
think
available.
The Ragnaros.
yeah, I was gonna
That's
say
way better.
I think
That's
I
a
think
real
the
one.
only
That's
thing
actually
that-
That's there. I didn't come up with that. That's 100% one of theirs. they
Oh,
came
that's-
with one of those, I'm pretty sure.
That's a real
I'm pretty
cereal?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think I've
Oh.
seen it. Yeah, I don't know if it's actually a cereal or it's just like they made it as a thing, but I'm pretty sure I saw them make Ragnaros at one point.
All right. I was going to let you take credit with that. But anyways, Ben, I think we cut you off there. Go ahead. About the
no, it's
cereal
all
talk.
good. I was gonna say the only thing that would scare me about the Demon Hunter or Enhancement Shaman is Enhancement Shamans are pretty squishy. I mean, they have a lot of self-healing, but if you don't have like the intervene and the rallying cry from the warrior, I feel like you might be a little bit too susceptible to being trained down. But maybe Creed opting not to go for that option. They're going to be going to Blackrock Hold, and they're going to be bringing in the Fire Mage, Demon Hunter, Paladin. So same exact thing, a smaller map, which is weird to me because I feel like they needed the big map. Like, it seemed like the only way they were getting pressure is when they dragged Mercy across the map. Like, that's basically the name of the game. I mean, you just want to bring yourself as far away from the shaman as possible. The reason for this is you avoid grounding, you avoid wind shear, you avoid purges, and you can just hit the target. And the shaman kind of awkwardly has to cross the map constantly. Whereas if you see Saza in a small map like this and he's actually going for crowd control, then it becomes really, really difficult because you're getting wind sheared, you're getting reflected, you're getting pummeled, you're getting grounded. You just effectively do nothing instead of just kind of running away and trying to create a one-on-one situation. So I'm curious as to why they went with a small map.
Well, they must know something that we don't for game number 2 here. They could be finding themselves reload on match point if they win this next game. It would be certainly interesting if we saw 2 3-0s in a row, but it's only game number 1. Let's see what Creed can do, see if they can tie things up there. If you look at the match record between these two teams, it's 2-1 reload versus Creed. So again, similar to what we saw for the last series, kind of similar in terms of match record. We can also take a look here, Subatiz, at their compositions on the side of Creed.
Yeah, look how weird they are. I think it's the it's like the main thing. Like 2 of these comps had prop paladins in them. That's not happening anymore. That's kind of a time gone now at this point. But they've got Ellie Fire Mage as the standard wizard comp. They've been running the Warrior Enhancement Shaman as their melee cleave, and then they've mixed it together for Demon Hunter Fire Mage. What did it, was Zico call his Diablo cleave?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fire demon. It's kind of weird that it's healed by a paladin then, I think. Isn't it?
Well,
I mean,
No,
what would you
there's
have
paladins
you
in Diablo.
instead?
I guess this paladin's in Diablo, but it's not like demon themed. It's like the opposite. It's like the antithesis of demon.
Well, he's slaying demons in Diablo.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
just like a corrupted
fair
one, I guess. Drainer is just a bit corrupted, from playing prot too much. There's the lore.
He's betrayed the light.
Yeah. Okay, but for Reload, it's a bit more kind of cut and dry here. They played a lot of Red Warrior in the start actually, but we haven't seen them on the Red Warrior like at all. Like I feel like Mystic is just kind of coasting on that roster right now, because they've been having so much success with the Shadow Priest Warrior Shaman.
It's interesting comparing them as well. I feel like Reload Esports, they've been pretty mostly consistent all year with like the comps that we've been seeing, and then Creed has just gone through, like, I don't want to call them most improved because they've been really good all season, but they've just been through like a journey in terms of what these guys have been playing, and Creed or Reload Esports, like, very scientific. Ven already mentioned that tweet that Mercy put out. You guys should definitely be following him on Twitter, see if we get another one of those. It's just like a manual on how to beat a composition. It's very, very interesting seeing their perspective. But we're going to go ahead into game number 2 with our nice POV here of this little feast here. Game number 2, Reload Esports up 1-0 versus Creed.
Yeah, Creed's going to be hungry for a win to try to come back in this series. Reload Esports are looking good, though. And I mean, when these teams have met in the past, Reload Esports has been kind of an unbreakable wall. So Creed, their adaptation and strategy going after the Warrior a lot more didn't work on the Grand. A lot of close calls, though. Got to say, there's a lot of close calls. So it could have easily gone their way with a little bit more crits. But on the smaller map, I'm just not convinced. Saza actually, here's an interesting change. Saza went from playing Alliance to now playing Horde. So he's going to be playing that Orc. Getting a little bit of that stun reduction, but no longer has that Shadow Melt. So interesting choice from Creed, just switching up, going from Horde to Alliance.
Yeah, I actually think. Yeah, I mean, I think the Orc Mage is for sure better than the Night Elf Mage, but I don't know about the human Paladin, and of course for the Demon Hunter, if it's better or not. But I think the Mage is the main target, so it does make a little bit of sense to try to reduce some of those Storm Bolts. Gonna see a setup here. Lontar is gonna be Sheep. Honestly, I really, really dislike this map pick from Creed. I feel like the only way this map makes sense is if they try to one-shot Lontar at some point. So I think that's what we need to keep our eyes out. Kind of like in the Method series, if you're picking a small map and you're playing, a mage-based composition, a lot of the time when you get a Sheep on the healer, everyone is just going to line you because this map is so small, and you're kind of forced to go after the healer. So if they can never get Lontar's Trinket, that could be on the table here for Creed. But right now, it's going to be mostly delay here, taking the damage here, and they're going to be swapping between him and Mercy here. Sheep's on delay, another Sheep. Tren actually leaps up in the air right there with the rain from above, and now he's going to be sending out some frosted Fellflakes here down on the map as he tries to reconnect onto Valet.
All right. Great. I think the main objective here for Creed is just have mana. I think no matter what, this is going to go into dampening unless Reload Esports makes a massive error on their side in terms of defense. So just set up Drainer for opportunities to get Drink, go for these big hits of damage with Combustion and the hunt deeper into dampening. You can still go for the setups early on when you have them available. Dragonsworth Lontar, stun a target, pop the combustion, pop the hunt. Maybe we see swaps to Lontar with this specific map, but as we see that, they're punishing Tren for that. Oh my goodness, this damage on Tren.
Whoa,
He's just absolutely getting crushed. Drainer barely recovers, and yeah, I feel like Tren is like, yeah, I'm not looking at Lontar ever again after that. I mean, he might just still die. His healer's still crowd controlled. Big heal comes in. Tren's back to full health. Getting back onto the Warrior, going back to the standard strategy.
Yep, nicely done there, but really close call on Tren, and maybe if they go after the Demon Hunter a little bit more in the match, it's going to look more in favor of Reload Esports. That being said, it's definitely scary because Saza, just being left alone, is going to be able to find these polymorphs. You can see Rain from above from Tren, once again, going to be flying up in the air, putting out a little bit of consistent damage, but now that he is back down on the ground, Mercy is just going to continue punishing this Demon Hunter as much as he can. That being said, Double Dragon's Breath comes in from Saza. Mercy in a little bit of trouble, potentially, but crowd control subsides. There's going to be no follow-up polymorph. Drainer's trying to... Looks like he wants to recover his mana, so trying to just get into a position where he can sit down, get out of combat, recover his mana via drinking, and that will give them a potential lead as the game goes on. But I think on this small map, Reload Esports, they're going to make it really difficult for Drainer to actually recover his mana. Then I just don't know if this map pick is going to work out for Creed.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, right now, Drainer is sitting down for a few ticks, and it looks like, no, Mercy's leaping in there, trying to shut it down. Gonna be able to do that, but Drainer was able to recover some of his mana, and honestly, mana is not going to be too important right now. Still pretty early on in the matchup here. Both of these teams playing very durable compositions. Tren is going to trade out his trinket as well as that darkness right there, so that's one good thing, I guess, about this map is that you have that darkness for the room, and it basically covers, you know, an entire side of that room. So maybe that's their strategy, to try to pull people back into the room and then go for a combustion hunt, which is actually, it was just a fake cast there from Tran, but Saza did commit his combustion right there, which is the biggest cooldown, and so far it doesn't look like they were able to net themselves too much with that. And now Tran up in the air here once again, throwing out some Fell Lances, and we're going to see Saza once again under pressure. And you know, for Reload Esports, they're like kind of a slow moving train, you know, they just need time. Let those dots, you know, really work. Let that mana of Drainer and those spammable kind of holy pathing cooldowns wither out a little bit, and that's when you're going to slowly start seeing Reload get that momentum that they had in the previous match. And I mean, at this point, it's kind of both teams just trying to get an edge moving into the late game. And right now, they actually might be able to grab that edge on the side of Creed here. Mercy quite low here. He gets clept by Saza. Saza also going to have his combustion very, very soon here. Pulls back into the room, spamming out some fireballs. Doing a good job there. Gets a nice double Dragon's Breath, going for the sheep. Nice wind shear by Lontar, though. It's going to shut that down. They're kind of dragging Mercy into the room here. Drainer could potentially go for a Hammer of Justice. He's trying to bait out the grounding. He does bait out the grounding, but not going to be going for it because of that Earthen Wall Totem. Master Spell gets kicked there from Belay, and that's going to be, actually, I think the sheep broke there, so doesn't matter. Mercy also did trade his trinket there, so some cooldowns here for the side of Creed here. They're gaining a little bit of momentum, but still a lot of work here to do. Drainer in crowd control. Saza dropping quite low, activates the Training Ward. They get a nice double fear. Drainer is going to trinket. Doesn't trade out the sacrifice just yet, though. He should be able to keep Saza alive, but with his trinket.
Oh, this time around, Creed are actually focusing the Shadow Priest, realizing that Die by the Sword is trading so effectively, going after Valet and getting through 2 priority cooldowns quite rapidly. And they got the Medallion from the Warrior. The Warrior is definitely a target for the next 2 minutes here. However, without their stun lock, they're going to focus on defense. Creed doing a great job 6 minutes in, maintaining Drainer's mana. As the Paladin, you're going to be at a disadvantage to the Restoration Shaman, so Drainer is going to have to work to play as efficiently as possible to get to one of those, to get to that deep dampening stage to net a kill. Here comes the play onto Valet. Is he just going to get smacked out here? Lontar in an imprisonment. Valet is interrupted. His fate is faded. Trent's trying to stay on target, but a big Shadow Mend comes in. Lontar doesn't panic. Holds on to his precious defensive cooldowns. I was almost anticipating a Spirit Link Totem right there, but Valet comes in with a huge heal. Saza now still the target. Mercy Poly dispelled instantly by Lontar. Trying to get through the Ring of Frost, just going to tank the Diminishing Return and try and get back on target. Dragon's Breath out. Saza's fully focused on defense, trying to avoid Mercy and stay on Valet. Securing a Polymorph. Excellently done here by Creed, finding that crowd control, potentially closing the game out. Is he going to be able to survive? Mercy is getting cleaved down as well. Lontar just sits through those polymorphs so confidently with both of his teammates below half health there. Combustion gets popped out here. Oh, instantly purged by Valet with the silence. Insane shutdown. Now Saza and Tren are rotted down. Lontar's getting aggressive, loading up the flame shocks, trying to get some lava surge procs. Drainer manages to recover with Divine Toll. Drainer charging on top of Lontar. Lontar gets stunned up. They're still going after Valet. Valet going to fade while Lontar is in crowd control, but Blinding Light for follow-up. If they get that fade and dispersion in this setup, that's going to be a high-value exchange, but Valet just Psychic Screams Tren away in his line of sighting, trying to focus on getting Shadow Ments or just wait for Lontar to get out of crowd control, but still quite a lot of damage available from Tren here. Saza's trying to avoid Mercy. Both Valet and Saza are just dealing with the melee counterparts on opposing sides. Drainer drinks, and this is exactly what Creed needs, as much mana as possible. They're not throwing away their late game potential or overextending. They're playing a conservative game, and they're going to need to find that miracle moment maybe 2 minutes from now.
I mean, Tren right now on the back foot a little bit. You can see Creed is struggling. All three members down around 50%. Drainer catching a huge heal, though, topping himself off, keeping Saza nice and healthy. And you can see Creed, they just want to use this room, kind of afraid to push out into the open, potentially looking for a hunt. But so far, I mean, Tren is faking out the hunt cast quite a bit. Mercy, Valet, and Lontar have done a great job not overreacting to the situation, not trading out any cooldowns unless Tren actually uses that. I mean, that's a scary thing to do, but you got to give credit to Reload Esports for playing it kind of calm, cool, collected. Lance is coming in here from Tren as he flies up into the sky looking for damage basically wherever, but a grounding totem basically shut down that entire offensive ability by Tren. And now Tren's going to be swapping over, looking for a hunt onto Valet. Dispersion gets traded out. Great trade there by Reload Esports. I mean, that could have been a disaster situation if that Dispersion didn't get traded out. But big damage coming in at the same time. Mercy getting low. This is going to be the Ascendance from Lontar to boost up his healing. Try to keep all three members stable. Mercy trying to find a target. Saza doing exactly what he should, just using Shimmer to create space, run away, get away from Lontar, and force Lontar to chase Mercy and allow him to avoid some of that healing. Dragon's Breath into a potential polymorph. Now Valet actually in a lot of trouble. A beautiful setup by Saza. Gets the trinket, gets the Spirit Link. I mean, Creed did a really good job. Really have to give credit to Saza for setting up that crowd control, baiting Lontar in the open, and allowing them to get so much defense from Valet.
That was a really nice chain here, and Creed this is the best they've looked in any of the games so far. Drainer has good mana. He's got basically all of his cooldowns. Saza has all of his personals, and so does Tren. It's going to be a double fear here coming out of Valet now. Valet trying to get aggressive. There's the Mind Games, trying to fake cast the Trinket counterspell there from Saza, but Saza doesn't actually have it. Valet does get the Mind Games off. Nice darkness there coming out from Tren. Going to be saving the situation. Lontar's going to answer with an Earthen Wall Totem, so both teams are not going to be taking too much damage right now. Lontar's sending out his Elemental here for a little bit of extra pressure. Still a lot of healing here to be done for Drainer. He doesn't have his wings. He's taking a lot of damage from that sacrifice as well. He's pushing in here. Oh, nice Fleshcraft there on the Blinding Light by Lontar right there. Now Drainer actually in a Psychic Horror. They're going after Valet here. Lontar in an imprisonment. That's the combustion of Saza. They're actually going after Mercy now with the remainder of that one. Trying to fake cast the hunt, trying to get some cooldowns. They actually got a lot of cooldowns there. They got the dispersion from Valet and the die by the sword from Mercy here. Lontar has no trinket, so it's basically open season right now for Creed here. They can just pick a target and go after it.
All right, let's see if they can pull it off here in game number 2. Easily their best game. Drainer stunned up, Saza stunned up. Valet is ripping them apart at the moment with pressure across the board. Drainer is sitting on Avenging Wrath. He's going to need to pop that and get a big heal. But Mercy's actually going after Drainer, and Drainer was the kill target in game 1. He's got to be careful of the positioning here. But Drainer's going for the win. Valet has Dragon's Breath at 10%, holding on to dear life in his fade. But Lontar's in a full polymorph. Valet's bombing out heals, but it is not enough. And Creed absolutely crack game 2. And now I'm starting to think Reload Esports might need to make a change.
Wow, I mean, Creed, what an impressive performance by them in that game. I really feel like they did such a good job of isolating targets and just creating a lot of space and finding their win condition, holding on to their mana. I mean, this is going to be a back-and-forth series. I really do wonder what Reload Esports is going to do, because Game 1, even though they won, it didn't look that comfy. And in Game 2, I mean, you could see, I feel like for the most part, this game was going in favor of Creed.
Yeah, no, it definitely felt that way. It didn't really feel like they were ever behind or in dire straits. And for Reload Esports, that's the scary thing here, right? Like, you're constantly fighting somebody who's trying to one-shot you, and your objective is to kind of outlast them. But Drainer he's got 60-70% of his mana right now in this replay here, and I mean, what can you do at that point? Delay here gets locked on his master spell, gets one Shadow Man out, but I mean, he doesn't have master spell, so it's going to be an easy reconnect there for Tren, and it's going to be a kill. But when you are on a time limit, which Creed is against this comp, how long that time limit is so important, and you really got to give some credit for Drainer here, keeping his team at 37% dampening, keeping them nice and healthy, having basically most of his cooldowns, and having a healthy mana pool as well. So definitely not an easy thing to do, and I think having those kind of extra opportunities because your healer is so efficient is what allows you to win a lot of these games, because you need a lot of time to take down a team like Reload Esports.
Creed tying it up in game number 1 in this best of 5 series. Loser of this has to drop down in the lower bracket and face off against Method EU. Subtees, right after this game ended, you said that Reload Esports is likely going to have to change something up, or at least you want to see them change something up. If we saw the same matchup from both of these teams, how likely is it that we would be seeing Creed win this one, Subtees?
Well, I mean, Reload Esports can pick maps where it's difficult to drink, so I don't think that they'll change comp immediately. They'll likely go to hook point. I think it'll be the same comps from both sides. And depending on how Drainer does on hook point, if he's able to have a lot of mana and it feels like that last game did, then I think Reload Esports will make some considerations to another composition. They still are sitting with Mystic. They still got Ret Warrior as an option if they really wanted to, or they were really desperate to try and pull that one out. But if the Shadow Priest Warrior doesn't work on their best map hook point, which is the best map to run a healer out of mana, I don't think it's going to work for them anymore. So
you think they're still going to try it then for this next game?
Yeah.
All right.
This is my prediction. Hook point, Shadow Priest Warrior Shaman, Demon Hunter, Fire Mage Paladin. That's what this draft's going to look like.
Okay. All right, we're going to get that draft started up shortly, see if Subtees is accurate. Then what about you, Ven? If we do see that same matchup going into those subsequent games, what do you think the best move is from either of these teams? I mean, Creed, finding success in game number 2 on that new composition. Do you think they'll stick with it?
Well, I think the fact that they locked it in blind and they locked it in game number 2 makes me feel like they are confident in this matchup. So I think going into game number 3 on hook point, like Subtees said, it's likely we do see the same thing from Creed. I don't know why they would switch, in all honesty, because game number 1, it looked like they could have easily won if they made, a few changes or things went their way a little bit differently. Game number 2, it definitely looked like they made those changes or things went better for them. So I don't think we're going to be seeing them switch. And it's really going to be, they are going to be switching. So the smallest map, they're switching to the Elemental Shaman Fire Mage. A bit curious, and I wonder if they're worried about the Ret Warrior. So potentially if they locked in the Demon Hunter Fire Mage, they feel like maybe they just get countered on the small map by the Ret Warrior. So they're looking to avoid that. So basically, Reload Esports, on this small map, their best comp could have been maybe the Ret Warrior, and Creed is trying to take that away by playing the double spellcaster.
Yeah, kind of a scary thing to lock in that comp on a map like Hook Point. I mean, you guys were saying that this comp tends to work out on a larger map, right? On the side of Creed with that Fire Mage Demon Hunter.
Well, for Creed now that they play Fire Ellie, I think they're going to have to go after healers. They're going to have to CC the healer and pressure maybe Valet or Mercy, but as soon as they line of sight or they get them to a situation where they don't have defenses, they're just going to have to go for a big setup. And for sure, Reload Esports right now, they're probably just talking strats, and they already know that they're going to lock in the Shadow Priest Warrior again. I don't see them locking in like a Shadow Priest Warlock, which is something that they do have with Mercy, or a Ret Warrior. A Ret Warrior, I feel like, would be a massive mistake here as well. So I think they're going to do Shadow Priest Warrior. They're going to try to play the long game and ride Drainer out of mana and try to grab the win that way. And I kind of agree with Van here. I do think Creed are trying to dodge the Ret Warrior, but I honestly think it's a bit of a mistake. I think Tren is the kind of player, because they're going to have to win a swing match here anyway. So I think putting that responsibility on Tren to kind of pre-nether walk some of those storm bolts and pre-rain from above and things like that, and have Saza blinking with some Dragon's Breaths when those stuns, one-shots are happening from the Ret Warrior, I think they could overcome that composition. But Creed, They're going to lock in the Mage Ellie and take this matchup instead, which I feel like it should be harder for them.
Okay, well, we'll see what they can do here. Definitely a lot on the line with these two teams tied up. And, you know, like Zika already mentioned, Creed did not win that blind pick, that game number 1. So if this comes to a game number 5, it's going to be very difficult for Creed to turn this one around. So getting that swing match in early on in the match is going to be very, very crucial here. But Reload Esports looking to put themselves on match point, staying with that same composition on hook point as well. It's going to change things up quite a bit as we head into game number 3. So we're going to have to see if they can shut this one down, put themselves on match point. And you know, what do we feel like out of these two teams? Which one do you guys think is more prepared to face off against Method EU?
That's a good question.
If they went down to the lower, I want to check my notes here. When Creed versus Method, the last time that happened,
Just
Creed
go with
won
your
3-1. But oh yeah, we had the keybind drama. So there's some potential unresolved drama if Creed go down to face off against Method EU. They're gonna have to play at full power. So maybe Creed want to avoid that situation, whereas Creed or Method EU and Reload Esports was very close game in 3-2. So I mean, neither team wants to go down there, right? You would much rather still sit with the comfort. You're basically doubling your money every time you get one placing further into the tournament. So if you can dodge that, it's like, okay, at least now we've avoided coming in 4th. I feel like that's going to be your main aim.
Yeah, I think it's really tough. I mean, we look at the standings and where these teams were besides skill cap, like these 3 teams, 2nd through 4th in terms of seeding for the circuit, were all really, really close, and they've all faced off against each other. They've had wins, they've had losses, and then when you have that like 2-week gap between the last time we saw these teams and now the finals, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to change. They've been practicing, they've been making new comps, so it's I feel like it's really hard to make predictions as we get into finals such as these, because you kind of tend to see, and I feel like we're seeing that develop now, you tend to see like almost completely different teams from the last time we saw them and now.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I just feel like, going back to, you know, which one of these teams, if they go down to the lower bracket, is gonna, you know, struggle with Method more. I really feel like, for the most part, the only outlier in this tournament so far has been skill capped. I mean, I don't think anyone wants to play against skill cap, but I think the other 3 teams, it's a really, really, really close matchup for all of them. So it comes down to little picks, like you know, the blind pick can matter a lot. Little outplays throughout the match, and just who kind of rises to the occasion in these years. And I think that's what's so awesome about this particular tournament, these finals, is you have the top 4 teams in Europe, and they're so evenly matched that really anything can happen. I mean, this series is even way too close to call. It wasn't looking good for Creed, but now I actually feel like it's not looking good for Reload Esports. So just very, very, very back and forth, and we'll have to see. I mean, they're going to be bringing in Bakka, and you can see he's honestly been a huge addition for the side of Creed. It's given them so many different composition options, playing the Elemental Shaman, playing the Enhancement Shaman, and I would say in terms of Europe, Bakka is definitely one of the best Shamans that I've seen so far. So a great pickup for them, and he's going to kind of be making his debut here on Championship Saturday.
He rounded the team out nicely. I feel like this team was like, not that they weren't like, they were doing really strong before he even joined, and then he came in as that 4th player. They were a 3-player roster, or he came in as the 4th player, and it like I said, it just completely rounded out the team. They started playing really strong comps, not that they weren't before, but it's been interesting seeing their development as a team. But we're going to head into game number 3. They are tied up at the moment. It's best of 5 on hook point.
All right, let's go for Kultiras. Gates are open. We got Bakka here on the Ellie Shaman, loading up the Stormkeeper. Drainer's already in crowd control here. Who are they going to go after? On the side of Reload, Saza already playing a little bit of defense here. Looks to be the target of choice. We're going to have Lontar in a Hammer of Justice. Can they find a Polymorph? They do find it, but it's DR. And nice pre-master spell there. Belay now in a Lightning Lasso, taking quite a lot of damage. Mercy leaps over, kicks it, and now it is going to be Reload. Look at the good aggressive here, Sid.
All right, Fire Elemental Shaman This is not a great map for the double spellcaster, but you still can never just count out the power of Combustion or the power of Stormkeeper. Those two spells can immediately eradicate a target, and Reload Esports need to be ready for every time they are activated and still press on despite the threat. They're trying to stay on Saza. Trainer is preemptive though, activating Sacrifice. Now isolating Mercy. He's stuck in that Ring of Frost. He is taking so much damage on the swing match. Oh man, a close call. He's confident. He doesn't trade die by the sword, but now his healer's in a full polymorph. If there's any more damage left, Bakka has Stormkeeper. He's channeled it. How much damage are these lightning bolts going to get? He's just swapping the damage around, hitting Valet, not really focusing too much on burst necessarily. They interrupt Valet, maybe they can KO him. He wraps around the corner. This has just been close call after close call for Reload Esports in Game 3, and they really can't afford to lose their swing match.
They really can't. I mean, at this point, Saza's going to be taking a little bit of damage. Beautiful Fear by Valet, gets a triple, but looks like that gets shut down by a Trinket Tremor from Bakka. Really good utility of that Shaman. Shuts down that crowd control, and it looks like Creed will be able to hold on. However, Blessing and Protection has to trade as well. Saza on the run, playing pure defense right now, finds a full polymorph. Rune of Power potentially getting dropped down. Valet gets interrupted. Do they have the damage? Unfortunately, Bakka not really in a great position to help out with a kill onto Valet. He's just going to be turning his attention onto Mercy. That's kind of how this composition works. If you can load up your damage on one target, they just explode, but it's difficult to do that. So both Bakka and Saza just going to be trying to hit opportune targets, trying to create opportunities for each other. Then it's going to be kind of Saza just one-shotting someone, and then maybe a little damage from Bakka, or Bakka one-shotting someone, a little bit of damage from Saza. Lightning Lasso on Valet, forced into the dispersion. And although Creed has been on the run, they're really keeping Reload Esports on the back foot. Valet might just get dropped. He might have to trade out the Greater Fate. This is a scary moment. It gets knocked away. Beautiful Thunderstorm there by Bakka. Valet feeling confident to survive, faking out the Wind Shear. And it looks like he should be able to hold on with no crowd control onto Lontar.
Beautiful setup there, though, on Valet. They get the dispersion right there. Valet still has some cooldowns to work with here. Lightning Lasso coming out. No crowd control on the Lontar. He's just going to heal through it here. Trying to look for the Wind Shear there for a second, but decided against it very, very quickly. Now, Valet here trying to waddle across here, trying to maybe help Mercy get some pressure onto Saza. Mercy actually gets caught up in crowd control, but he does get caught up in crowd control on Lontar's side, which means he can get dispelled. Nice Overwatch reflect there on the polymorph. Nice. Another reflect there, and now Saza still looking for the sheep here. Valet gets counterspelled. Lontar has an opportunity here to free cast healing, but he's just being very efficient right now, letting his Riptide do a lot of the work. And now once again, Saza on the back foot, gonna get that freedom and duck for cover. Mercy actually gets knocked far, far back. These thunderstorms from Bakka have been very, very on point so far. Stormkeeper loaded up here. Who is going to be the target of choice here? They need to find crowd control onto Lontar, and Saza is looking for it, but so far fakes out the Wind Shear, but he gets silenced, so he's not going to be able to find it. Nice Wind Shear there, though, on the Flashcraft. But Lontar, look at him. He's ducking two wizards. Bakka's trying to hex him, and Saza's trying to sheep him, and he's just running around the pillar there, playing whack-a-mole there with Lontar, but he does escape that situation. Doesn't get crowd control. Now he's going to have his grounding totem and his Wind Shear to work with as well, so not a bad situation there for Lontar. And now we can see Mercy able to develop a little bit of pressure here, finally getting Saza to about 50%. Drainer, though, with the wings, able to pick him back up, and here comes the Blinding Light into another potential setup here. It could be Valet, and it could be Mercy, Sid.
All right, let's see if they can set it up. Drainer's mana is looking healthy, actually, even with the Shaman, a bit unexpected. Bakka slips in with a Hex onto Lontar, but Valet is at the pillar. It doesn't look like they're going to be in too much trouble. Maybe the Lightning Lasso catches Mercy out in midfield. They counterspell Valet. Man, I got to say, I feel like we've criticized Creed throughout the Cups and the circuit as kind of just being this kind of gimmicky team, playing these really weird compositions, and I feel like we've said, like, if they just get a good Fire Ellie, at least I feel like I've said that, if they can get their Fire Ellie up to the same level as what we used to see from Skill Capped, they would be a real threat. And Fire Elemental Shaman was dominating the European region. And this game in particular is really looking like a good one for Creed, and potentially going to be the game that establishes themselves in the tournament as a dominant Fire Mage Elemental roster. They're still going after Valet. They've interrupted him. He's down below half. They knock him out into the open. Drainer sits down for a drink amidst all of the chaos, getting a tiny bit of mana, but a tiny bit ahead of Drainer, or a tiny bit ahead of Lontar is better than being behind. Drainer going to make a trade on cooldown, stay ahead of the damage with Sacrifice, and play more efficiently rather than waiting to recover and having to expend a tremendous amount of mana. And Drainer's playing with full anticipation, recovering through the pressure with the Avenging Wrath, Lightning Lasso onto Valet, slowing down some of his damage, but Mercy is really tearing in at the moment. Leap Double Fear, beautiful setup by Mercy. Beautiful intimidating shout. Saza's down at 10%. They strip off the Blessing of Protection. Instant Storm Bolt. Condemn after condemn. Is Saza going to be able to survive? Dragon's Breath on Mercy. Polymorph in desperation. Trying to get the Warrior off of Saza and buy time for Drainer to recover, but he's caught in a quaking palm at the moment. Saza's just running around the pillar, waiting for Drainer. Frost Nova's Mercy, but now suddenly Bakka blasts Valet. He has to trade the Greater Fade. And this is the threat of the LE Fire Mage. If you're chasing one target around too long, the other one could simply KO you.
Yeah, I mean, there really is no question about that. It was a nice thunderstorm there by Bakka, knocking everyone into the open. Saza had combustion up for a little bit longer, but really not able to accomplish too much. Saza now completely on the back foot. Just Condemns coming in here from Mercy, putting out a ton of damage. Bringer Frost potentially being dropped down. He gets interrupted. Can they get the Cauterize? That would be massive. The Ice Block or the Cauterize are what they're looking for, but no. Creed greeted out, and they managed to hold on to those precious defensives as we march deeper and deeper into dampening. About 12% at this point of the game. Mana still looking good for both of these healers, but I would say it's just been Saza on the back foot for a long time. Second Blessing of Protection. If that gets purged off, this pain train coming in from Mercy is just never ending onto Saza. He's trying to get away. A beautiful Ring of Frost. Who are they going after? They need to try to get some damage rolling. Bakka is going to have to be the hero to set up some damage, as Saza's just been so pressured in this matchup so far.
Yeah, and that's really, you hit the nail on its head right there, man. It's all about Saza. If he's the target, he needs to drag the Warrior far away from the Shaman, from his healer, and it's going to be Bakka. He has to either develop pressure on the Shaman like this, big swap here potentially onto Lontar, but Saza not able to back him up. He gets sacrificed there by Drainer, and he should be able to recover now, but that was a very scary situation. You know, it's all going to be up to Bakka. Find the Hex onto Lontar and pressure Valet or Mercy, or pressure Lontar, but now Saza makes the MVP play. He gets a sheep here. He's going after Mercy. There's the combustion. There's the die by the sword. He gets silenced on it. Valet trying to get a Shadow Man. He does get it out. Nice, beautiful war banner there as well by Mercy, stopping that dire situation. And this is Creed, you know, on their worst comp, on their, well, this is Creed getting countered in terms of map and comp, and they're making it look very, very good so far. The only issue right now is Drainer's mana is not looking great on the side of Creed, but they have good pressure. If they can get another setup like that onto Mercy, he doesn't have his die by the sword. If Bakka can get a big blast off, that could be what wins them the game, or at least gets Lontar's Trinket Spirit Link and really opens up the opportunities for them. But until then, Saza's just going to have to run, try to reset his combustion, try to buy time. Drainer's actually sitting down for a drink right now, and he's getting ticks, but Saza might have to trade out his Ice Block here. Delay does stop it, but now Drainer in crowd control. Why are they going to have to trade for that drink? They do trade out the Ice Block there. A nice War Stomp on the Massive Spell there. Bakka getting Hex now as well. Good pressure. Mercy with the Shattering Throw here to continue the momentum here. Really punishing that drink. Excellent stuff here from Reload Esports, but also a nice decision there by Drainer to go for that drink when his team had pressure sit.
Alright, let's see if they can maintain it here. We're getting that critical massive dampening where the Shadow Priest Warrior train is going to be running them over with just pressure, and they're not going to be able to really escape at the close quarters of Hook Point. Combustion available now. They need to find a way to kill Mercy without his ability to activate the die by the sword. They're going after the Shadow Priest instead, trying to bait a dispersion. They get a Greater Fade instead. Now recovering behind the pillar with a huge Shadow Mend heal. I think Valet is likely running the Shadow Mend Legendary, a good option against the burst damage spellcasters to drag this into dampening. Saza is running laps away from Mercy. Double Dragon's Breath.
Swing match!
Spell, nicely timed. Combustion's following through, but not enough damage to close it out. Valet recovers in the back line. Drainer's drinking though, and that's a beautiful timing on that drink. Realizing that his team was kind of just absolutely destroying Reload Esports, he's just can recover mana, so his team gets more and more opportunities in the fight to find those burst opportunities. They could switch to Lontar if they can reset this combustion, get a Stormkeeper at the same time. It might be a bit of a risk. They'd have to overextend, and it seems like they still want to just focus on defense, running Mercy behind pillars. But if Lontar gets into a bad position, I'd love to see a swap.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Right now, Mercy leaps over. He gets the intimidating shout, but Tremor Totem comes in. Unfortunate by Mercy, and I feel like that crowd control was a bit misplaced. because that was the easiest Tremor Totem of Bakka's life in that situation. Now a big Lightning Lasso onto Mercy right now. Hammer of Justice on Lontar, 33% dampening. And as this game goes on, it's going to become really difficult for Lontar to heal through the damage. And all of a sudden, it gives Creed a lot more options. It's not just burst anymore. They're going to have a lot of consistent damage in this match. And if Mercy's constantly being dragged, I feel like Lontar is really going to struggle to actually keep him alive. A silence now on Trainer. At the same time, maybe they turn their attention on the Bakka. Saza has been so difficult to go after for Mercy in this match. In the midfield, though, 36% dampening once again. Here it is, the double Dragon's Breath gets shut down. Nice wind shear there by Lontar. Lightning Lasso on Valet once again. What is Lontar going to do? Spirit Link Totem potentially? Are we going to see a dispersion? No. They greed it out. It's going to be more than enough healing for Lontar. Not enough damage from Creed. And both these teams kind of stabilize as we march towards 40% dampening.
Yeah, and I mean, they're both looking extremely healthy too at 40% dampening. Both healers still have more than half their mana bars to work with. And I mean, so far, everybody has defensive cooldowns to work with as well. Minus Saza, he still has a minute left on that ice block. Bakka, though, is going to be the target of choice right now. They got the mind games here onto Bakka. Drainer's sitting up for a drink with this. This is very risky stuff. They're going after Mercy here. They got a sheep onto Lontar. Mercy going to have to use his trinket, die by the sword, trying to trade his defensive cooldowns. He's trying to survive. Nice triple Dragon's Breath here. Valet now getting swapped to Lightning Lasso coming out. Valet's going to trinket and trade out the Fade instead of trading out his dispersion actually in that situation. Now Mercy feeling confident here, trying to get some counter pressure back onto Saza. Saza's for sure going to get that ice block back. It's going to be Mercy on the back foot. Lontar trades out the Ascendus, trades out the Spirit Link. His healing is doing nothing at this point. He gets fully sheeped. He has no trinket. Mercy has no die by the sword. This is the situation. Does Bakka have the damage they need now for Creed to win this? This is the swing match. Lontar does have a preemptive Earthen Wall Totem. Valet dropping a power word shield there as well, making sure that Mercy does survive that scare situation. Now they're going after Bakka to get the Astral Shift here, and things are spiraling out of control, Sid.
This is the turnaround game in my mind. This game could decide the entire series. Can Creed pull it off? They have been looking solid and like a monster, but with dampening hitting almost 50% healing reduction, Drainer is really struggling to recover. His Avenging Wrath just subsided. I don't know how he's going to make it out of this situation. He has to Divine Shield. Mercy is getting a Shattering Throw into Intimidating Shout at low HP. Drainer gets a big Word of Glory. He's trying to retreat away from the combat. He needs to get distance and try and recover, but Valet is just endless with the damage onto Bakka. Is Bakka and Drainer going to be able to recover? Mercy leaps in. Saza blinks back. Combustion's available. Saza needs to win the game with this next combustion. When is he going to pull the trigger on it? If they get crowd control, they need to go for it. They've got Mercy so low.
Oh,
They don't even,
done.
They pop it with the last second. With just the last second in their final breath, pull off the kill in what I'm going to consider the turnaround game of this series. Creed have done it.
Creed never stopped playing the Elemental Shaman Fire Mage. I feel like this is their answer to win this series. That looked beautiful for them. They knew their win condition. They did such a great job surviving and making it exceptionally difficult for Reload Esports. I'm really impressed with Saza. I feel like Saza has done such a great job so far in this series, doing exactly what he needs to put his team in a prime position to actually win. So if he continues to do that, I feel like Creed is looking extremely good for this series. Reload Esports, they're going to have to figure something out, but you can see how unstable the game gets at deep dampening, Zico.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can tell here, Creed came to play. The decisions they're making here, look at Drainer. He's so pressured. He bubbles out, going for a heal. Look at Mercy here. Pre-Shatter Throw, interrupts the heal with the Spear. Drainer, he has no cooldowns. He's on, 30% HP. His Shaman is extremely low as well, but Saza is there with the peels. He gets the counterspell on delay. He gets the sheep there as well. Drainer gets to finally get a couple of holy lights out here onto Bakka. Bakka trinketing out of the Stormbolt, and then here, finally, they've reset the combustion, and they're just going to go for it there. Just Dragon's Breath onto Lontar. No Spirit Link available, and just like 1 or 2 seconds on that Dragon's Breath was enough. That was all they needed with dampening being so high there, and I gotta agree with you there as well, man. Saza definitely played it out exactly the way he should. Just drag the warrior around, let Bakka do most of the heavy lifting, and when they finally start targeting Bakka, that's when you can go in, you can peel out the dangerous situations, you can look for crowd control, and you can try to end the game with that combustion.
Well, speaking of Saza, the crazy thing about this player is this is his first season ever competing competitively, and he's done this well with this team. He's made it here into the finals, which I feel like there's so many players in the AWC that have been at this for years and don't have as much success as we are seeing with Saza on his first year. It's just incredible.
Yeah, he's been. He just kind of came out of left field, when they signed up. It just looked like, okay, well, this is this is the team. They're gonna just meme around a bit, play some prot, and see what happens. But then all of a sudden, they started actually getting real success immediately, and they continued with it. Added Bakka on there as well, and now Saza's got the experience, and he's showing it here in the finals. He came to play.
Yeah, they all did. Winning that swing match, which you guys were talking about before we went into that last game, just how crucial that would be. Now they're on match point. They only have one more game to win if they want to win this series, making Reload Esports drop down to that lower bracket. And Supatiz, you already said it. That was the game in your mind that would determine the victor of this series.
Yeah, that was going to be their most difficult map, because now they've stolen the swing match, so they can set up their Demon Hunter Fire Mage, which looks so good. On Black Rock Hold, or now they can rely on this Fire Mage Ellie. They dodged a bullet, with Hook Point being the hardest map to maintain your mana. That's the main strategy for Reload Esport, is to just tap out Drainer, and they couldn't tap him out on their best map. That, to me, that's a big tell that that's a turnaround for the entire series here. And now Reload Esports might need to consider something else, but where do they go? It's going to have to be another small map, so Dalaran, probably. But I don't think Ret Warrior is a good pick, especially now that Fire Mage Ellie is on the table. It might have been okay into the Fire Mage Demon Hunter, but now that Creed can block that out as an option, maybe I feel like it's never going to happen. They're not going to do Warlock Shadow Priest, just because Mercy, I think, is most of the Warlock players, if they can play something else, don't want to play Warlock. But if they get really desperate, they could try that into the Ellie Mage. I wouldn't mind seeing it, to be honest. One game of Warlock Shadow Priest into Ellie Fire Mage, if you know it's the matchup that you want to get. I think it could do all right.
On match point, though?
I mean, we saw Cloud9 in North America do that to Hamsters and Hares, Ellie Fire Mage. I think maybe it was Shadow Priest Fire Mage. Might have been Shadow Priest. I feel like it was Ellie Fire Mage. It did really well into Ellie Fire Mage. You just keep dots up, run behind the pillar, avoid the burst damage as much as possible. That would at least get them to a game 5. But then when they're in the game 5, you're going to have to win Shadow Priest Warrior versus Ellie Mage or versus Demon Hunter Fire Mage. So it's kind of up to them. Keep riding the momentum with the comp that they've obviously put the most amount of time into. Makes more sense to me. And I think Mercy just doesn't really want to play Warlock regardless.
Yeah, well, Reload Esports, I mean, they're going to have to do something. This is match point for them. They can't afford to drop any more games at this point. They are going to be locking in that map once again, as we saw them do in that last game, Ven, and they've locked in Ashermane's Fall. What do we think of this?
Well, it didn't work out for them on a small map, so I guess they're going to a big map, but I kind of wonder what they're trying to set up here. Maybe they're trying to bait Creed to not play the Ellie. It's like, okay, well, if we go to a small map, we're getting the Ellie Fire Mage. We don't want that, so let's just give them a big map, see what happens. But I feel like Creed, if I was Creed, I would play, yes, okay, this is exactly what I would do. If I was Creed, don't switch. I mean, because theoretically, you should do even better on a large map. I mean, if your main game plan is to just run and drink and then one-shot and dampening, this is the best map, or one of the best maps. So same exact strategy for Creed. I think it's going to be even easier for them. The Reload Esports, they're going to play that same matchup, and I just don't know if this is the correct pick. However, I think this is their only pick. You can't play Ret Warrior here, so they basically, by picking Ashermane's Fall, they told Creed exactly what their plan was, essentially, because if you locked in the Ret Warrior on Ashermane's Fall, I just feel like that would be a disaster. So, yeah, I feel like this is a bit of a mispick here for Reload Esports.
Quick lock-in as well. I mean, they basically didn't hesitate. I don't know how quickly they locked in the map, Ashermane's Fall, but I mean, they basically immediately responded with this composition here after Creed locked in their comp. So they don't even have anything to discuss, apparently, and they're going to be heading into this game very, very quickly. And that is a bold move from these guys. Obviously, they're feeling confident heading into this last game that they can turn things around, tie this one up, sticking with that composition. But Creed also sticking with that comp. So we'll have to see what they do here. Like we've already said, I mean, this is quite a bit different of a map. It is going to be Ashermane's Fall, so that's very very bigger. What am I trying to say? Way bigger than Hook Point. So we'll have to see what they can do here, if they can tie things up, but they are very, very close to knocking themselves out of this series, going down to that lower bracket, facing off against another very difficult team in the form of Method EU. But they are confident in this pick, and they're going to head to it in this game here. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if Reload Esports ties this one up.
I feel like they're fishing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like
someone
they
to
should.
actually.
I think they want to, because no matter what, Game 5 is a big map, and it's going to be a matchup like
Oh.
this. So if they
I've never seen
that's so
that bird.
cool.
I didn't know
What?
that's
Have
a
you guys
great-
seen that bird?
No,
That's a great shot.
distracted.
That's a great shot. Our observers are lovely.
What kind of bird is that?
Oh,
Who do you think he's cheering for?
or something.
It looks like a toucan.
I don't know.
All right, well, we'll see. I mean, Creed right now, they're one away from sending Reload Esports to the lower bracket to play against Method EU. Definitely not the place you want to be. They are just one away from making it against Skill Cap EU in that upper finals. Let's see if they can get it done. Reload Esports, they're going to have to battle it back here on Ashamain's Fall. Now, this bigger map, I feel like it's going to be more difficult for them, but we'll see what their strategy is going to be. Still going after Saza. Full Hex gets secured there by Bakka onto Lontar. Great job. And they get an early dispersion here from Valet. At the same time, they're getting a lot of pressure on Mercy. They get to die by the sword. What is going on? Creed really starting this one off with a bang.
Yep, Creed coming out, guns blazing here, getting 2 for 1 there with that setup. Beautiful start so far. And now Saza just needs to go to the furthest corner. Yep, that one right there. Even further into that corner and just spam Fireball. Just wait for that combustion to come back out. And of course, he has to make sure that Mercy isn't just standing there pummeling him. Has to try to balance taking, not taking damage and getting those Fireballs out. He's going to have a minute about on his combustion cooldown there. Nice ult time by Saza. Looking for the polymorphs here. I do believe he actually faked Lontar's wind shear right there. Now he's going to go for the Ring of Frost. It's going to be a double. Nice fleshcraft by Lontar. Valet though, extremely low. No dispersion. He's on match point. Goes for the greediest Shadow Mend, and it does pay out there for him. Able to hold on to the fade of all cooldowns right there. And now Bakka actually taking a little bit of damage here from the Shadow Priest, looking to heal himself up. He gets wind sheared. Beautiful stuff here from Lontar. Lontar throwing in a couple of lava bursts there as well. Bakka though responding with the grounding totem. This is kind of the downtime here for Creed. You know, the Creed, they won the last game very, very deep into dampening. They went for a long game plan here, so I think that's very intelligent. Don't get too aggressive here, but they got Mercy so low. Saza has combustion. If he can just get there, he's looking for the polymorph. Nice reflect though. Not going to be able to find it. That would have been an excellent opportunity if you could find that sheep right there to just go in and use that combustion. They did get Lontar's trinket though. So I honestly, if I was on Creed right now, I'd be trying to set up a kill of the Lontar. All you have to do is make sure that Valet isn't able to get that Master Spell or a Shadow Mend up. If you can Dragon's Breath Valet and counterspell him when he has Fade up, you can kill Lontar the next time you get a stun lock, the next time you get a setup. It's going to have to be up to Mercy, maybe to get a fear onto everybody if they try to do that. But Creed definitely looking good so far. They don't have Trinket on Drainer and Bakka though. That is the one opening here for Reload.
All right, let's see if they can get the setup. They've got all of the cards at the moment in Creed's favor, but they're on the back foot in terms of momentum. They're trying to avoid Mercy. Mercy's just dodging around the Ring of Frost edge. Valet the target for the moment. They're charging forward. Drainer's moving in. Who's going to be the target? Valet's trying to pre-mass Dispel, anticipating damage here. Now turning it around with a triple fear. Excellent timing by Mercy right when Drainer wanted to move in. But there's the Hammer of Justice. Here's the Lightning Lasso. There's the Combust. Are they just going to crack right through Die by the Sword? Doesn't look like it. Valet with good support. Nice trade on that exchange. Not able to net the kill, and that is the main priority trade between Reload Esports and Creed, is Die by the Sword for Combustion. If that trade doesn't happen, the Warrior is dead. If that trade happens, the Warrior might not be dead. At least that becomes more likely in deeper dampening for sure. Drainer's mana, not in the best position. I feel like Creed has been playing more aggressive in this match, and now they need to start looking to play more conservative and start drinking, and that's exactly what they're doing. Drainer sits down, but Mercy leaps right into line of sight. He's not going to get any mana. Valet's on the right side, Mercy on the left. He's not going to be able to drink whatsoever. Valet getting smacked around a bit, double blinding light. They're swapping to the Shadow Priest, but Valet line of sights gets a Mass Dispel around the corner, sniping Lone Tar out of that polymorph. Good positioning by Valet. Mercy's popping some big damage cooldowns. He's trying to connect to Saza in battle stance, and Saza's just running around the pillar to avoid him. If he doesn't get Mercy off him, he's going to take a lot of damage. There's the Warbreaker. He blinks away. Lightning Lasso on Valet. Mercy reconnecting with the Door of Shadows. Saza soul shaping. Thunderstorm from Bakka. Good positioning there to knock away Mercy, but Valet is still owning Saza. Drainer has been unable to recover. Look at his team at the moment in shambles, but Divine Toll is available and recovers thanks to his trusty beacon, recovering 2 targets simultaneously. Lone Tar now polymorphed Valet the target. He's going to fade, go for a Shadow Mend, not find it, and then just line of sight. But now Mercy's in a Ring of Frost. It looks like they want to try and drink. Drainer's pulling back behind Saza and Bakka. Surprisingly, Reload Esports have been running Creed lower on mana on what I would have assumed would be a harder map to run Drainer low on mana, unlike that last game. And if they can keep this up and tap him out, that's going to be the win condition for Reload.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's really, really important that Drainer isn't able to recover that mana, especially as we're about to enter Dampening, but it becomes more difficult. I mean, the problem is for Reload Esports, that as Dampening gets higher and higher, it's harder to maintain this chase, become a lot less stable with the healing reduction on Riptide and Earthshield, and that's when things get a little bit weird here for Reload Esports. Double Fear coming in from the side of Valet. That gets Tremor Totem, Trinket Tremor there by Bakka as they continue this damage on a Mercy. A big setup here, but Lone Tar out of control, gets the Purge onto Saza's Combustion. That's going to shut down that attempt as Saza and Bakka are once again on the run. Mercy just trying to stay on target, but Saza just constantly using Shimmer to run away, using Dragon's Breath to play defensive, Ring of Frost, making it just so difficult for Mercy to get out the consistent damage that they need to kind of overwhelm Drainer and his mana bar. So the defensive plays from Creed, the positioning from Creed has been great, exactly what they need to do. And then when they cross the map, that's when Bakka can go for Lightning Lassos, try to go for setups, and maybe Saza's going to be able to help him out. Do we see a full polymorph? We see a polymorph on Mercy, a Ring of Frost on Lone Tar, and Creed is able to cross and potentially recover some mana. This would be big. Drainer, this is an opportunity for him to get some mana, but they're making it difficult by going after Bakka. He trades out the Astral Shift. Drainer's not able to recover his mana. And Reload Esports, to their credit, they played that beautifully. Drainer really wanted to get mana, and instead of chasing him to keep him in combat, they just did a big setup on Bakka. They got the Astral Shift basically for free, and then a Heroic Leap comes in for Mercy to make sure he can't drink. So Reload Esports really doing a good job keeping themselves in this one.
Yeah, but if one of these drinks ever gets through, it's going to be very, very difficult here for Reload Esports to actually close out the match, and Drainer's always looking for them. The best way they can stop them, though, would be with pressure. Saza with a nice Alter Time's got a Dragon's Breath Mercy into a Frostbolt here. He actually gets it off, and now he's looking for some more crowd control here, and that's the name of the game here. If you are on Creed, you need to play a long game here, potentially to win this match, so you want to cross the map, get a sheep onto Lone Tar, get a setup on somebody, and Drainer's job basically in that setup is to press Hammer of Justice and then just run away, drop combat, and look for drinks while his team plays that 2v2 situation. And if he can do that, he's going to be able to recover his mana and potentially take us even deeper into the late game, which honestly might be needed here. Now they have this is a perfect situation here for Drainer. They got a Hex onto Lone Tar, they got a Sheep onto Mercy, follow the Hex with another Sheep. There's the Nova, and look at Drainer's mana right now. Oh no, he's actually just getting a couple of sips and then going for the Hammer of Justice. They want to get aggressive here. He's got the Blinding Light, they got the Die by the Sword here, they got the Dispersion once again here. Creed actually opting to play that one offensive there. Drainer assisting in that setup there. He could have actually gotten full mana, but I guess he's not too worried right now, and still they're going to net themselves 2 important defensives right there. The next time they can get a CC, most likely going to be Lone Tar's Trinket.
Okay, let's see if they can set it up. Their mana's not in the best position, but their momentum is. Valet down at half, really struggling to stay afloat on match point, and they do not want to go down to the lower bracket and face off against Method EU. The last time those teams faced, it was a very close series, and if Game 1 had gone in favor of Method EU, then Method EU could have taken it. So Reload Esports face a grave danger if they lose this game and go down to the lower bracket so soon in the finals here of Europe. So far, they've done a good job of denying Drainer from his drinks. He's only now at 60% mana as opposed to, I think, the 100% that he was in the same time and same position. It was about 50% dampening in the last game where we saw the kill landed, so likely still 20 or so % away from a kill opportunity between these two titans. Bakka's loading up the Stormkeeper. Saza pops Combustion. They're going for the win. Spirit Link Totem around the corner. Lone Tar, instant reaction time there. If he did not clutch that one out, Valet would be dust on the ground at the moment. Now that they've survived that assault, they really need to start getting aggressive and ride the momentum. That was all of the major threats from Creed thrown at the same time with a high value exchange of the Spirit Link Totem.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what they can get done. Valet still on the back foot, going to be trying to run out along the side. Look at Drainer now in kind of a prime position, still just trying to run away and go for a drink. And it can be really taxing and daunting to just try to chase down a Paladin who's looking for mana the whole game. Drainer sits down. He recovers so much mana. Morph on to Mercy. Valet into a Lightning Lasso. Drainer at full mana. Creed, this is the exact situation that they wanted. Reload Esports the entire game, basically perfectly shutting it down. But at a certain point, it just becomes too difficult for Reload Esports, too risky to just be pushing out into the open consistently, especially at 25% dampening. But now Creed has set themselves up to win this series, potentially, if they could just hold on. Mercy getting absolutely blasted. Lone Tari does have his trinket, but no emergency healing. I mean, there's no Spirit Link Totem and no Ascendance for another 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes of basically complete instability for Reload Esports, as that's really the only emergency healing that Lone Tar has available. I really feel like Creed is looking good to win this one.
Yeah, Creed is looking perfect to win this one right now. And honestly, there with that last combustion, if they pop that on Valet, he didn't have dispersion or trinket there. So maybe they could have actually taken him down, but I think Valet had pretty good defensive positioning there to avoid that. And now, I mean, they got everything they need here. Drainer's Mana's looking good. They still have cooldowns, but Saza, you can't forget about Reload's pressure here. We're starting to get deeper and deeper into dampening, and that means the Shadow Priest is really going to start powering up as well. The Ellie Shaman is going to be just as scary pretty much the entire game here. It's just going to be harder to recover from one of those big hits against the Ellie Shaman, but the Shadow Priest, he's going to have pressure across the entire map. Drainer right now sitting down for a drink. He's going to have to stop that one. Bakka trading out the Astral Ship right there. Mercy did use his avatar, so pretty fair exchange. Bakka link to the Stormkeeper gets interrupted here. Mercy still with good pressure here. Lotar's there backing him up, ready to dispel any peels. Nice down the storm. Mercy leaping back here. Beautiful freedom right there. And this is the situation here. Lontar has to use the grounding totem right there, saving the day. Nice purge there on that combustion by Valet. And Mercy's still not out of the woods yet. They don't have Spirit Link totem for another 30 seconds. That's going to be the die by the sword there. It was traded for the combustion, but they do have a full sheep here on the Lontar. Full counterspell secured on Valet as well. No off healing here. Now, finally, Counterspell is going to end, and Valet is going to be able to get a big Shadow Mend off, but Mercy's still not out of the woods yet. Dragon's Breath onto Lontar, Sheep onto Valet. Earthen Wall Totem deflects from Lontar, but Mercy's still dropping dangerously low. Lightning Lasso coming out. How is he going to respond? Couple of seconds left on the Spirit Link. 4 seconds left. Lontar gets Counterspelled. He has to move into position here to drop the Spirit Link. Potentially, no. He activates the Ascendance while he's kicked for a big deal there, but still, his team is just rotting down. How is he going to keep them alive here? Creed with so much pressure, but now Saza as well. Finally running down into the Shadow Priest damage. Valet trying to counter pressure the situation. It is anybody's game right now, and Reload are a match point, Sid.
Oh, Combustion's coming up. There's no dab of the sword for 30 seconds. They could just pop off here. Big damage! Huge war stomp! Drainer clutches it out with the triple! And Creed take it 3-1.
Absolutely beautiful. Creed really stepping up with this Elemental Shaman Fire Mage, and this is exactly what we wanted to see from them, and I feel like they're getting more and more confident with this composition. They started with the Demon Hunter Fire Mage, they made the switch, that game looked beautiful. They really